So just a quick heads up, if you're already a clay pro or consider yourself a clay pro, then you may learn a thing or two today, but potentially not too much. But if you're thinking, man, I could probably still learn a thing or two or three about clay, then hopefully today will be, something that you'll find valuable. And I'll start sharing my screen in just 1 second. There we go. Entire screen number one. And then so I'm I'm not a fancy deck kind of guy, as you can see. I'm the no fluff kind of guy. So don't expect a long presentation. Don't expect theory, right? I never did really well in school. I was easily distracted, but I'm just gonna basically do a live build and show you stuff that that I can that I'm building, and then as I'm building, as you're following along, then we're going through all of these topics right here, and then we're going to go through some things, like actually using clay. I think in this case we're literally using it for free. Well, there's Serper, so there's one external API that comes into the mix, but other than that, we're literally using clay for free. Now there are hundreds of ways to actually do this. I cannot possibly go over all of those, so I'm just going to build a general build that I very often build with things that I do feel, that if you learn them and you think about your use case, you'll be able to apply them to your use case. So that's what I'm going over today. Again, live build, a thing or two may go wrong, but that's I'm hoping that everyone here is in a forgiving mood today. So from the top is today what I'm going to go over, and like the main reason why I'm doing this, because I see a lot of people having the same question where they're not sure, how to use clay, if clay is for them. Um, and yeah, that is serper.dev. So then he asked for the API's link. That's right there, serper.dev. And so they have the same question. They're saying, listen, I want to do this or that, but I only get like 3,000 or 10,000 credits. And like it's just not sustainable, right? It gets cheaper to hire VA to do it for me, or like I'm not even sure if this is for me. So that's why I'm doing this webinar, because to me, well, first of all, I think you should probably change your mindset a little bit and not think of clay as just another software, but really think of clay as a cheap employee, right? Because back in the day, like years and years and years ago, I was running a lead generation agency. I was a business partner at a lead generation agency, and we're talking like between 5 and 10 years ago. All the stuff that you're now able to do with clay, we had to solve with brute force, as in hire people from, hire cheap labor. We would hire interns, and they would clean the lead list. They will do the research. They will write all the personalization. They will pull in the data. You still needed all the other subscriptions to other tools. And the worst part for me about that was the lack of quality control, where you have, and the lack of control in general, where you have something in your head and you're thinking, man, I want to build this, but you're not able to do it simply because you need to outsource a lot of it. Otherwise, you're going to be working 24 hours per day just to launch a campaign of 1,000 leads, right? So Clay allows me to do something that I needed between 10 to 20 employees for, and I can do it by myself. I can do it for multiple clients because I'm in the agency space. And that's what I like most about Clay. So for me, I'm comparing Clay and my Clay subscription to a workforce of 10 to 20 VAs, and then it's coming, it's starting to look pretty darn good. That's how I feel most people should be looking at Clay. And it can replace a bunch of tools for you. It can be your centralized, single source of truth and all that. And instead of you spending a lot of hours on manual stuff or hiring people, that's what you use Clay for. So enough, pitching about Clay, because if you're here, then you're probably already convinced. So what we're going to do today is we have a table here which has a bunch of leads that we got from Apollo. Apollo is basically for free these days, but you can also get access to the cheap data sources. You get the leads in there, and I feel like lead data usually isn't the issue for people. You get it into Clay. We're going to score the leads based on job titles. So does their job title contain this or that keyword? We're going to categorize them. So do they fall under the marketing department, for example, or are they senior leadership or that type of thing? Then we're going to enrich them using Serper to validate. We're basically going to validate whether or not they still work at their current company. It is mostly just to show what you can do with Serper and why it's potentially a really cheap and good alternative to some of the other stuff that you're doing. Then we're going to get the meta description from that company for free. In case we're missing descriptions, then we're going to extract keywords from that meta description and then score the rows based on both keyword extractions. So based on their job title keyword extraction, based on their meta description keyword extraction. Then only if they have a specific score, then we're going to qualify them for further enrichment. Then we're going to guess their email basically for free for a couple of pennies, worst case scenario. And then we're going to write personalized first lines without using AI. So we're going to do that for free. And then I'm giving you all of my favorite APIs. I'll already drop the link in the chat. Maybe you meant that one, Danny, not sure. But I'll share this entire doc in the on the event page later. So, but in case you already want to check that out, that is right there. And then I'll also share the link to the table we're building. So I cannot share it yet because it's not built. I'm going to build the table. I'll share it with you, and then you can see the exact formulas I'm using and all that good stuff. So enough about this. Let's actually get into it. Let's look at the data that we have. Let's score the leads that we have based on the job titles, and then we go into the other steps. So here we have the data. I already prepared a little bit because sometimes Clay is giving me a hard time with API integrations, and I want to make sure I wasn't just 10 minutes swearing on a LinkedIn live. So this is your standard Apollo data. And first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the job titles, and then we're going to score them based on specific keywords, right? So even if you put in CMO and you only want to grab the CMOs, you still get different job titles. Maybe someone is CMO / co-founder, that type of thing. Or you can, you say, okay, I'm going to get all marketing leadership. And then I'm going to say, okay, all marketing leadership with a creative background. I'm going to pitch them the angle about how our tool really helps with brand building. All the marketing professionals with a PPC background, so more of a paid marketing background, I'm going to talk to them about the direct ROI and the return on ad spend, how that improves. Mm-hmm. And then marketers that maybe used to be a founder, you can talk about them. You can talk to them about how you can help them save overhead because maybe their mindset is more aligned around that. That is just a basic example, maybe not the best one, but that is the example of how you can use that. A lot of different ways you can use it. So what we're going to do, and I'm just making this up as we go, but I see here content and creative and brand. So those are the three keywords that I want to look for. I want to say, okay, if they have those keywords in their job title, then okay, that is, that's a positive for me because then I can talk about this really cool future about our product being on brand, right? So let's go an example where the other day I was looking at a company and what they did is there we go. So what they do, they help generate AI content, but it's actually on brand because there's like a human step in there. So let's take them as an example. We can say, okay, these job titles, we want those keywords. Now, some people then go and say, okay, let's use AI and say from this job title, determine how likely they are to, care about this or that. From this, John is a director of marketing at this or that company. What is he most likely to care about? That's not that's not really going to be accurate. You're going to have content. You're going to have answers that are going to be all over the place. Even if you spend an hour telling GPT that bad GPT, you shouldn't say that, and optimizing your prompt that way. And B, it's going to be very inconsistent, as in you don't know what's going to be the output, so you're not sure what you should do as your next step, right? I like to work with as much consistent output or input as possible. And that's coming from me using to run a software company where we generate millions and millions of AI snippets. Sold the company last year, but still, one of the main things I learned is that you need really clear guardrails. And the more you can restrict everything, the better. So, what we're going to do, we're going to use a formula. So, we're going to go here in formula and then say if title contains brand or creative or content or design, output true, otherwise output false. So we're going to turn in a really simple true or false type thing. So then later we can say if that equals true, then sync to this campaign. If that equals false, sync to that campaign. If we would go with keywords and we would just say, you know what, output the keyword that you found, then that's not really going to help us, because then later, imagine you want to sync it to a campaign, then you would have to say, if keyword equals this or that, then go to the next step. So instead, turn as much into a true or false statement as you possibly can. So there's that. So we have true statements, false, like we have true, false, that is the output. So now we know some of these are more, creative minded people. So that is good. We can then later add that to our scoring model. For now, let's leave that. We did that. We used the formula to detect whether or not they have specific keywords in their title. Then we want to categorize them. So um, we can say, okay, we can categorize based on leadership, but we can also categorize based on like what they are likely responsible for. And a lot of people again use AI for this, but if you already know what you want to categorize it in, then then it just makes things a lot easier. And I know we have the, let me see, where do I have that? So we know we have departments here in seniority, but just to show you the example, this is the example I'm going with now, like how we can recreate that. And then maybe for you use, because you can come up with a better example. But we could say if job job title, where are you? Job title contains. Let me just do it this way. I'm a little bit neurotic. If job contains president or VP, output president, for example. If title contains manager, output manager. And again, you could turn this into true or false statements simply by saying, okay, I'm going to do it one by one. So this would be, one column you would call president check, for example. Then president check could be true or false. Manager check could be true or false, right? But I'm just going to combine them here for the sake of simplicity. Then if title contains, what else do we have? So we have manager, then there's chief, there's director. Okay, then contains chief or director, output senior leadership, for example, right? Or C-suite. Let's go with C-suite. There we go. And then some are going to be empty, but that is all good. There we go. So VP of growth, that's a president. Director of social media is C-suite, for example. That's just to, how you would categorize them. You can also say, I want to categorize them by department. So if contains, and then you can have just a constant list of job keywords that you're updating, where you can say, okay, if it contains these keywords, is that department. If it contains these keywords, is that department. And you have like a fixed list of departments you can use where you categorize them into. I prefer this over using AI because you can control 100% of it. You might need to, keep updating your list of keywords to look for, but the output is going to be 100% accurate. And then you can just quickly skim the empty ones and then see, okay, this one's empty. Looks like I need to add some keywords. This person right here, the job title is head. You know what? Head should go under senior leadership. Let's add head to here, for example, until you have nothing empty left. So you can simply say if job title classification is empty, then you check all the empty ones. You get more inspiration for keywords. You add the keywords until you have no empty ones left, and now you have a 100% accurate job title classification formula in there that was free, that didn't cost you anything. And again, I'm just going to say it again, it's 100% accurate, which is great. We like accuracy. So we did that. We categorized it. Then we're going to enrich them using Serper, and then we want to run a quick validation. Now the validation would require some tweaking, so I'm just going to go with like the MVP version of it, and then show you how I did it, and then you for yourself, you can hopefully build it out a little bit more in depth. So what we are going to do is we're going to search for this person's LinkedIn profile on Google to see what their current title is and see if it still aligns with the title that we have. There could be a lot of use cases for that, but basically you get real-time LinkedIn data, right? So we're going to be using Serper for that, which is very, very cheap. So for example, you can run 50,000 queries for $50. Now compare that to Clay credits, because Clay has that same feature where you can search for a person on LinkedIn, and you can validate them that way, but you're going to spend the Clay credit, where instead, if you use Serper, then you get 50,000 credits or 500,000 credits for a lot less than it would have cost you in Clay credits. And for example, in this case, you can validate 500,000 LinkedIn profiles and see what they're currently doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to first generate our query. That is because when we run it without that, so we just use a dynamic value directly in here, sometimes Clay has an issue with that. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, but you get the error failed to parse body input, right? It sometimes throws that error. Just so for me to be 100% sure that that doesn't happen, what I did is I generated this formula right here, where I used AI and I said, from their LinkedIn profile, basically just get me the linkedin.com/in/etc. So, get me the value behind www. And then use that to construct the following sentence, site, and then here's the output. So if you're not familiar with Google search operators, this is me looking for my own profile. So you could say on-site linked. So basically look for this site right here. You could also say, and then look for, B2B, for example, see if it finds that. And then it finds stuff that I post or stuff that is indexed about B2B on my profile. You can look for specific keywords, but Google doesn't index a lot on LinkedIn. Bing does index a lot more. So you could potentially use Bing to get a little bit more creative. But basically this is, the search that we have, and this is then what we can see. And here you can see my, my title, strategic operations partner, which is my current title. And then we can basically use that to validate it. So that's what we're going to do, where the output is site, and then linkedin.com, and then the dynamic value is these people, that LinkedIn profile. So the output is correct, save formula, there we go. So then here we have all, those values created by the formula right here. And then this is the search that we're going for. Now, it doesn't always bring back a result, but it often does. So in this case, Michelle Wong is with Sprinkles. I would imagine that is a company. Yes, so Sprinkles makes yada, yada, yada. That is great. So sometimes it gives you the company name, sometimes it gives you a job title. We can work with that. So we ran that on the first 10, and then here we have the results. Then the first result right here is the actual LinkedIn profile, and this is the title. That is the one that we want. There we go. And then let's also get the snippet, just because maybe we can do some creative with that if we still have time left, and inspiration. I'll how do you set up Serper within Clay through the API connector. Check out claymba.com. I have a tutorial on that. It's behind the paywall, but it shows you exactly how to do that. Then here we have the snippet, and here we have the title. So there we go. So it has, in most cases, it has where they're currently working, it has their name and all that. That's good stuff. All right. Then we got them, we enriched them through Serper, and we have info about them. And then we can do a quick validation, which again, like you need to optimize that a little bit, but let's just do a quick validation. So from where is that? So this one, provide me the output behind. There we go. That should work because I hate regular expression, but a passion. Okay, so now we're taking out their name pretty much from the title, and we just get whatever is um, whatever was left from that title, and then we could say if title or company contains title output true, otherwise output false. There we go. Generate formula. Okay, so Dollar Shave Club was found. So this person we're 100% sure is true, that they still work at Dollar Shave Club because in their current headline. We should add a quick. Uh, let's see. No, not that one. Sorry. Here we go. False if the title output is empty, output no. That should work. Just so that we get any false positives. There we go. So with these people, for example, we're 100% sure that their data is still accurate. The other ones could still be. So in some cases, people have like multiple job titles. This person, like Linda Cookie Lab Consulting. Let's see. Well, here it says Ruggable. This is a great company name. But let's see if she still works at that company. And let's see. She is no longer with Ruggable. So that would actually be correct. So now we know that we confirm she's no longer with Ruggable. It seems to be correct. Again, you want to double, triple check everything a little bit before you rely too much on this. But it's a great way to validate whether or not they still work at a company. As you can see, it's pretty darn accurate so far, even without any real optimization there. So we've done that. Then we want to get the meta description with dub. Let me just pull up that endpoint really quick. So dub.co, there we go. Retrieve meta tags. There we go. So website called dub.co. They're a page builder, link management. They for some reason have an endpoint to retrieve the meta tags for URL. Not 100% sure why they have that, but we'll say thank you very much. So we'll grab that, and then let's see. Then we go in here and just want to make sure I do this 100% correct, because let's see, get, and then I think what you do is you go domain, where are you, website. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that, just 1 second. Let's see, I'm gonna have to clean the domains, which is Another great use case for formula. There's we go, website. Okay, so what I'm going to say is from website, provide me the value behind www dot. Then we get the top level domain, which is great. And then now we can do our thing. There we go. The method was get, and then add there. I just need to double check that. Let me see. Because I have it in another table. So well, actually I have it saved. Why am I being difficult? This is why you want to save stuff, people. Because sometimes you just get stuck in the middle of a LinkedIn live and it's just not great. Here we go, meta description. The master domain is this one. And description, well, we can just do a random. There we go. And URL is, you see, this is the little part I was looking for and I just wasn't too sure. So then what we can do is we can say we only run this if, for example, Apollo's SEO description is empty, which in some cases it is. But I'm just going to run it on everything just because, well, we're here on this live and let's have some fun with it, right? So there's that. And then she get website value. And then we save. And then let's run 10 rows. Just to show you what the output looks like. And then we have something to play around with. There we go. And then we get the description. High performance diapers. That is awesome. High performing diapers. I thought that was for baby athletes. There we go. So we get the meta description. You can run that just in case SEO description on Apollo is empty, and you can get it for free that way. Or in case you want to have more input for whatever prompt you're running, for example, then you can use it for that. Just a quick sip of water because I've been talking for 30 minutes. There we go. So next what we want to do is we want to extract certain keywords from that meta description, right? So, and this again is just a just like a creative exercise. So I'm not really going to do anything too spectacular, but just for us to have something. Let's see, that maybe something about healthy or health. Yeah, health seems to be a good one. So imagine we're selling generative like AI content to, but only to health providers, right? So then, is this better than enriching from LinkedIn company page? No, but it is for free. So that is the theme of this webinar. And then so if description contains health or healthy, it would probably pick up on healthy, by the way, so it's redundant, but what are some other health related keywords? Health, healthy, or fitness, anything health related, right? Workout, for example. Output true, otherwise output false. There we go. There's that. That looks beautiful. And there we go. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate that. Let's see, exercise, workout. I think I got workout. Exercise, well, we can add. But yeah, then we have a couple truths here. Great. We'll use that for a scoring model because we're going to score on keyword extraction only if the score is above 49. Let me tell you in a second why we're doing that. So this little bonus thing about scoring. And the reason why I'm including scoring in here is because it's free, but it's a really cool feature where you can basically, well, you can score accounts. You can score accounts and then say, okay, only if they only like spend resources on them if they have this or that that score at least. It's just something again that used to take a lot of resources to actually score accounts. Some companies would charge a lot of money for it, but we're able to do it, and it just helps you get all your unstructured, like your true, your false, your keyword extractions, all that data, and you just tie it together into one score, and then you have one field, one column that you need to look at, and you can say, okay, if that column is X, then do Y, etc. So you have the one data point that you need to look at, making your life a lot easier. So there's that, and there's also and then B, it can help you save credits as well by saying, okay, only enrich a lead or a company if their score is higher than 50. So if you do all these three steps first and then find the email, you don't spend email credits or LinkedIn enrichment credits on companies that are not a good fit, because you scored them first for free, and then you're only enriching them if they look to be a good fit. So that's how you can use the scoring feature. So score row, and then we go to score row and clay. So we have this true or false. Then we have the title verification. Let's not use that one. If that true or false. So let's just only use the keyword, well, the keyword ones, and then the title verification, right? Because that just shows us that we're 100% sure that they're still in the current job title. So we have three criteria that we're going with. Then values to score, we're going with, let me find you. The first true, false, creative role detection. So if they're creative folks, then that's good for us. Then we go with equals. So if that output equals true or false, right? So then if it equals true, then add 50 points. If it equals false, then we're going to subtract. I mean, let's just, for the sake of having something up quickly, we're going to take 50 points off. Then the next one, so we want to go with title verification, and there's another equals. So if title verification equals true, that is good. If it equals false, that is bad. So if it equals true, then it's 100 points, because we can reach out to them without any stress about it not being correct. And then the last one is also the last column, this one right here. And if that equals true, then we are happy people. So we're going to add points. Then we're going to add 100 points, or take 50, for example. If then went a bit fast, I understand. But this is not a webinar about scoring. I have modules for that on my website. But for now, we just want the score, and we're just going to go to the first 10 rows because they have all the output. And then we have the score right there. A few have a positive score. That's good, because all the other ones, those will be DQ'd, disqualified. We don't want to spend credits on them anyway. Then we could even say only if a score of above 1 or above 0, they're qualified for enrichment. Then one thing that we're going to do is we're going to guess their email, basically for free. So here's where you potentially spend some credits. We're going to use a email validation tool to guess their email. So email validation tools are crazy cheap. If you take Million Verifier, for example, millionverifier.com, you can get, I don't know, what is it, 10, 20 million credits for like $2,000 or something like that. And that would help you validate. Maybe imagine you buy 10 million credits, that would help you validate. I think they'll help you validate 10 million emails, actually, because of the way that we're setting it up. So 10 million emails for, let's say, $1,500. That's a pretty good price if you compare it to any other email finding tool out there. So for me, that qualifies as free. Cheating a little bit, but then again, it's pretty cool. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to just use zero bounds. So what is it? D bounds for now. And then, sorry, I need to do one step first. So what we're going to do is we're going to say combine first name. No, I can do that a lot easier. So first So we're going to guess their email. We're going to guess different formats, right? And then we want to have the top level domain. So this is the first email that we're going to guess. First name dot last name. So these are emails we're going to guess first. That will cost us just one email validation credit, which is hilariously cheap. Then we're going to say just first name at and then domain. There we go. So then this is uh, like Kyle at Lisa at. Um, let's see if that gives us any validated emails. If not, then you get the point. I also don't want to make this too long, but this, we can validate the emails this way. So then we're going to go with debounce, or you set up, million verifier, or maybe you buy a lifetime deal on AppSumo, you get 1,000,000 credits for $50, and that gives you 1,000,000 emails to validate. And then you can say the email is this one right here. I only want save to send emails, and then give me valid emails, and then you run that. And then you're basically going to repeat that same step. And you're going to say validate email, but now we're going to go with the second value that we guessed, right? So here, right here, Kyle at only save to send, but it's important that we say only run if, and then we're going to take this one is empty. So it's only going to spend the credit if it hasn't found the email in the first step, but it already gave us a bunch of emails. So that is good because we like cheap emails. Then email bulk checker even cheaper than main verifier. There we go. So you set up email bulk checker. If they have an API, set it up in Clay, and then let's see, email bulk checker. So let's see. You can get a lifetime deal from AppSumo. Sorry, AppSumo spending your Google Ads money. There's these guys, and then email list verify. I know they're very cheap. So here you get you get 1,200 credits per day, or 220,000 emails, or 220,000 credits, which means that is how many emails you can validate. Then there's bulk email checker. I think they have an API. Let's just assume they have an API, and then that means you can find 1,000,000 emails for 410 USD, which is a pretty damn good price. So the only thing you have to do is put in all the common formats, like first name, first dot last name, first letter, last name. Put in 10 formats. You just use that as a Clay table template. Whenever you have data from Apollo, import it into your, you make a copy of a template, import it into your template. It will guess all their emails. The best part is it's already validated. So if there's output, yes, is their right email, you can start sending to it right away, 99% accurate. And it's pretty much for free. I would call this free. So that's, how you can do that. We guess their email. We also could have said only do it if score is above 0, and then it becomes even cheaper, right? Because then you're only reaching out to leads that are a great fit. And then we want to write personalized first lines. Now, we're not going to use AI for that because we want our output to be consistent. We want our output to be accurate. We want to have control over the output, and we want to know what works and what doesn't. So the main reason for going with this is, probably the main reason is, imagine you're sending emails, but like a bunch of stuff in the email is going to be 100% different all of the time. Then you cannot 100% rely on analytics. You could say, you know what, like some people, they got like a bad first line, for example. So, they said no because their email was awkward. And for some people, like some format of first line works phenomenally well. We get a lot of responses there, but I'm not sure which format that is because AI writes it for me. I don't control it. So what we want to do instead, we just want to write like a really personalized email that you could write to maybe one or two personas, and then you start seeing, okay, how can I turn that into variables? So what we did first, right? We saw if people had those creative keywords in their job title. So now we can say, okay, if that equals true, so they are in charge of content or brand or what have you, we can say, I saw you're heading up design, right? Or I saw you're responsible for brand, or I saw you care about brand, whatever. So that will be the first line that we're going to use for that. So we can say if, and then where are you? There we go. Equals true. Output this. If creative role detection equals false, output. And then our other is, so, and this is not a great first line. Like, don't use this, please, and then tell me it didn't work, because I just need an example. Okay, I saw you leading the charge at, or I saw you're leading the. Let's make it slightly less awkward. The marketing department at. Still not great, but it's something, right? So you can have, there's a couple of variables on there. You can say, if I detect this keyword, say this. If I detect their LinkedIn post, so if LinkedIn post detection is not empty, say this. Like, I saw your LinkedIn post on my feed. If this is true, say that. And then have a fallback. If all of those are false, then just say this, like, I was just on your website, for example. That is correct. And then we have our first lines in there. And then, these people, they have different first lines. So heading up design, so in the marketing department, so heading up design, et cetera, et cetera. So they all have different first lines. So we have different emails going out to different people, different personas based on what they do. That was everything that we built. Did not spend a single clay credit, and we have personalized first lines. We found emails pretty much for free. We scored all of our leads and accounts based on whether or not they were a good fit for our imaginary generative AI content tool for health and fitness businesses. And we know who's in which department, so what type of angle we want to go with. And we know all of that. And again, didn't spend a single clay credit, and just a couple cents here and there on emails or getting stuff from Google. And we also know that our data is accurate, so we also validated our data in the process. That's all we did, all for free, just to hopefully give you some inspiration on how you can use Clay practically for free. So let me share this Clay table so you can see, in case you ever will get stuck or you want to just look back at what we did. So Clay table goes in here. I will share this document with everyone. Has the link to the blog with some of my favorite external data sources in there. Check out claymba.com if you want to get a preview of what I'm launching next week or plan on launching next week. Check out the blog with the best APIs. You can grab the table. This document is all yours. I'll drop that in the LinkedIn event and the webinar. So the recording will go on YouTube because I cannot post it on LinkedIn. So then, YouTube is the place to be. If you have not subscribed to YouTube yet, then definitely do so. So I have 5 minutes for questions. Then I gotta prepare for my next call and the work related stuff. So any questions, let me know. And otherwise, in a minute or two, I'm signing off. So if you are starting only with company URLs, never around 100,000 URLs, how do you move to people level? Assuming that you have access to Apollo, you do that in Apollo. So I have a Loom video that I can share. Um, yeah, so if you don't know how to do that, you can basically copy and paste the URLs under company search instead of just having to import the CSV and paying for the enrichment feature. So I would just get that into Apollo by copy and pasting it. If you're not sure how to do that, let me know. Send me a quick DM and I'll send you the link to the Loom video. That's how we do that. Apollo is too cheap to not use them, so I would just use Apollo. Here's the document. Let's see. No, it doesn't have to be. So it is asking Serper that LinkedIn URL scraping through Google must be done incognito or no, because in the end you're not scraping LinkedIn, you're just scraping Google. So Google's indexing LinkedIn profiles, and you're just telling, okay, fine, this URL right here, it has indexed the URL, and you just grab the first organic search result. So it doesn't do anything on LinkedIn; it just scrapes Google. Atanas, yes. So it would have to be in batch of 10,000. So 10,000 companies. Yeah, that's the easiest way. Or you could use Serper for that. Imagine you have a really clear job title that you have that you want to find. So imagine you only want founders. Then you could say, okay, um, site site linkedin.com, then founder, CEO, and then company name. That is the so for example, like this, let me drop it in the chat. So site linkedin.com, and you have so you have company names. You could say um, uh, founder, uh, company name, something like that. Yeah, like you would have to optimize that a little bit to like um you could use in title, which I don't think is still operator, but this is the basics of it. So you could run that in Clay. So you set up Serper, you say, okay, for each row, look for, founder, and then company names, for example, founder at Microsoft, founder at Tesla. Search for LinkedIn, and the first result that comes up, that is the LinkedIn URL. So now you have the LinkedIn URL of the founder at that company, and you can then you have the person, and you can enrich that LinkedIn URL further. Still, I would probably go with Apollo because they already did the hard work for you. Match rate is going to be higher. So yeah, like if you really just want to do it in Clay really quickly, and you're okay with slightly lower match rate, or if you're really just going for one job title, founder, nothing else, then yeah, you could do it in Clay. Otherwise, I would still use Apollo. Alrighty, people. Companies that Apollo does not find any contact about alternatives, so I can really exhaust list of. So yeah, so for companies that Apollo does not find, just do so you can waterfall it. You could say first go to Apollo, and then do the search that I just suggested, where you try and find them on LinkedIn through Serper. And otherwise, yeah, that would honestly be pretty much about it. That would be about it that I would try. Alrighty, people. I had a great time. Let me just throw some celebrations in there. Because I'm happy that you all showed up. Happy that we did this. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions, you know where to find me on LinkedIn. And I'll try and do these lives at least once per month, maybe twice. So, I'll let you know about the next one. And, hopefully I'll see you there as well. If you want more info about my upcoming project, that's claymba.com. Or follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, and all that for free stuff. Everyone likes free stuff. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye bye.